Hi there. I'm to and follow that person through my board for to take this on the diligence and post I from what he is after shoot. That was printed in a newspaper called the something. It's a Vietnamese newspaper in 1725. There's actually a German version. It's not pure German. It's mixed with something else, but it's a German version of the newspaper, and it's a local one that you could actually get. Like you can actually read it up online if you want to. Just go to Wikipedia, it's all there. However, the English version, the one that I really would like to read, is not on Wikipedia or anywhere. It's a private version. You have to have some sort of authorization to get it, which I don't have, so kind of bummed about that. But if you read a book called Vampires, Burial, and the Undead, the author does a very good, he speaks German very well, and he has a translation in his book. It's not an official translation because it's what he reads, which is interprets, which a translation actually is anyways. But if you want the actual translation, that's what you can go to find it. It's pretty interesting stuff. It goes in depth about how when they stabbed him in the heart, there was blood spewing from his mouth, ears, and eyes. And then in a little side note, he says to his readers from the newspaper that there was more stuff that actually happened, but he just didn't tell you in the newspaper because he didn't really know how to explain it, I guess, or he just says, I'm going to pass, which I guess that means he's not going to talk about it out of respect. So my guess is he's pretty scared about what's happening, and it's pretty scary. And there's also another case by Arnold Parole or something like that, Parole, I think. And he's another well-documented case. Around the same time actually, but that's fine. I mean, but the reason I chose this case is because it's kind of like one of the first ones, so it's kind of unplagued and untouched by all the myths and stereotypes that come with vampires. So, because if you read, there's not really much about them actually going out and totally raping all these children like you do in some of these other stories of vampires. How in other cultures it's more of they just use the vampire stories to cover up for their own sick and twisted fetishes and stuff, which that's fine for them, but for the people who are actually trying to do the research, I mean, don't feel my mind being blown and all that good jazz. Yeah, that's really about all because he's pretty much unheard of. He was oh, this is important. He actually has background, most of the vampires just appear out of thin air. They don't really have a story with them. But Peter Blagojevich is actually, he was a peasant. It says so he's actually had a life and a wife and children, and he came back, which is one of the main things that vampires do. So I think it's interesting that he's actually one of the documented vampires that has a history before his actual history making history, if that makes sense to anybody. It's really an interesting case. I mean, go and do some 5 minutes of research of just finding out his stuff, read some things. I mean, it's a really well documented case. I'll see if I can't get a really good, my bad, that was a yawn. I'll see if I can't get any really good information, 'cause I've got the newspaper and I've got a friend who translates German, and it's hard. It's Slavic, Siberian, something, Serbian, I don't know how you say that word. Okay, well, peace out.